I'd like to talk a little bit about a method or an example that we could use for trying to get away from the troublesome mind. We often are told about invasive thoughts, thoughts that come that disturb us, bother us, or we're living a good life, we've got everything we need, but we worry all the time. Worrying about this, worrying about that. Quality of life goes out the window. And as many of us know, we have a mind, but the mind isn't who we are. The mind is the mind, and we are who we are. And the people who mostly discover this for themselves are those who meditate. In meditation, one of the things you can do is, because you're thinking about your breathing in and out, maybe looking at a candle or whatever it is you may do, begin to realize that there's a realm outside of the mind. It's very peaceful. There's no time, there's no pressure, there's no trouble. But then as soon as we come out of the meditation, there's the mind again. And we can become quite skilled at ignoring the mind. But this message really is for people who, you've heard about these things. You've heard about people who can find, what they say, find their true self. You know, I found my true self. I love being my true self. But being my true self, I've had to realize that my mind is over there. I'm going to use it to do this talk, say, or to read a book or put the TV on or something like this. But I don't really want my mind using me. But how do you stop that? And I'd just like to give an example here of a type of person who's doing something every day, which is a great skill, okay? And it's all about a very similar thing as the mind, stepping away from the mind. And that is, how the hell do you get 2 or 3 kids to school, at the school gate, on time, every day, okay? To do that, you are practicing the skill that's needed to come into enlightenment, to come into a better place in life. And what I mean by that is, I've got 3 daughters of my own, okay? And this is the situation, okay? We got to get to the school at 9 o'clock, okay? So we get up at 7 in the morning. And my 3 kids, okay, really not with the program. But I'm bigger than them. They are them and I am me, okay? And I know that it doesn't matter what they do, we're getting to the school for 9 o'clock, okay? Now they go through all their little dramas. Dad, you know, I'm not happy because somebody's done this on my little book and all this. And there they are, drawing me into their little drama. They've got this big drama. They can't see school. They can't see 9 o'clock. They can't see my reputation as a parent, you know, getting them late. They don't know anything like that. It's like, who drew in my book? It's not fair. You know, so when I go over to comfort my little darling, I'm listening, kind of listening to the words, but I'm not really bothered, to be honest. And what they don't realise is, as I'm stroking her hair, saying, oh, that's terrible, like that, by the time I go away, she's actually got socks on. I've managed to get some shorts on, and I might even put their shoes on, and they don't really notice. Because all I'm really bothered about is my agenda. I'm not bothered about their agenda. And the other one's over the other side. I've spilt, she shouted at me, and there's milk here, and there's like this, and I say, oh, it's terrible, and all this. And as I go over, I'm going over, talking and embracing, oh, isn't it terrible, packing the bag that they need for lunch that day, and all the rest of it. So what we're doing, in a way, is we're saying, you know, these outside voices, these 3 kids, maybe 4, I don't know how people did 4, thought 3 was tough enough. But even 2, you know, and they're very persuasive because they're attached like the mind, okay? This is the thing. Just like the mind, kids are attached to our hearts. We've got a big emotive attachment with them, and we care about those little things that, you know, we have to sort of stroke them and everything else. But as much as we stroke them and as much as we make sure they feel as if we care, we don't really. We just want to get them to the school at 9 o'clock, you know. And that's a tough job. Every time I see a mum or a dad, and there we go, And there's the kid who's at the school with the uniform on and the bag on the back and the ponytail's perfect and the socks are nice and they're even the same colour, you know, even the shoes match. It's amazing because that's not what they want to do. You know, I remember two of my kids, they just would not put the same colour socks on. I'd be like, you know, purple sock, yellow sock. And it just was agony trying to get them to wear the same colour, never mind white, you know. So I always admire when I see families and they do it day in and day out for years on end, and it's hard work. But they get the kids there, you know, and there's the other one in the buggy and another one maybe hanging onto the buggy, you know. And but they've all got to get there somehow and then get home again to the disaster that's the kitchen and the bedrooms and everything else. But I'm making light of this whole thing, but in actual fact, you're performing a skill that's needed if you ever wanted to get rest from your mind. I want to get serious for a moment about this whole thing, because it's a serious thing, okay? People all over the world, in record numbers, are taking all kinds of antidepressants and sleeping tablets and Valiums and all kinds of crazy drugs. There's people, you know, they say that every couple of hours, with just American ex-servicemen alone, every couple of hours, one of them commits suicide. All these things, the tranquilizers, the mental health issues, it's all to do with the mind. A mind that is running away with them, making you worry, making you depressed, making you do all these things. And really what the mind's doing is wrestling control of your life. It's getting you down, you know. And one of the things that makes you even more depressed is like, well, perhaps you live in a nice house. Maybe you've got the job you always wanted. You've got the husband you always wanted, the wife the kids you always wanted. And this is what makes it worse, is that you've got everything that you seem to have wanted, but you're just so unhappy all the time. You know, you can't get yourself together. And then you hear about people saying, well, you need to be able to do mindfulness. You need to be able to do meditation. Get away from that troubled mind. You think, you know, and the problem with that, if you're not used to this, is that you think you are your mind. And your mind's trying to pretend it's you, you know. But if you can do something, anything. One of my daughters, she suffered mental health issues very seriously. And I remember when she was really troubled in her mind. I didn't know what was going on in her head, but it was pretty awful. But her most peaceful times was when she played cards, patience, you know. Because her mind was taken up, see. Can't be two places at once. So she was fine playing cards. Hey, I used to buy her packs of cards, you know, anything to keep her in her peace. It was a sort of form of meditation in a way. My neighbour in New York very sadly committed suicide. I was the one who went and broke into the garage, turned the key off in the car, the engine, got the doors open. And, you know, I thought I could say, slapped him round the head, you know, just shouted in his ear, Joe, come on, man, you know, and he was gone, you know. But the thing is, it was his mind that took him there. His mind was talking to him the whole way. Because that's what goes on. Mind's a troublesome thing. So what I'm trying to say is, okay, if you're a parent and you're one of those who get your kids to school on time, okay, and you have to ignore those little voices, you have to ignore the emotions that come with it. Mommy, Daddy, it's not fair, I'm not happy. And they're crying, you know, and even though they're crying, you're picking them up like this. I don't want to go to school today. And you're picking them up saying, never mind, darling, everything's going to be fine. And they don't realise you just put the coat on and you've buckled up one of the shoes and we're going out the door. We're actually halfway to school saying, no, don't worry, baby, everything's going to be fine. And she's going, but they do want to go to school. And you say, oh, look, there's your little friend, Charlie or Gabriel or something, you know. Next thing, we go, oh, hello. And on we go with another day. That is a great skill. I just want to compliment every parent who can do that every day, because that is a great skill. I'm just trying to say, if you're bothered with your mind's coming, bringing traffic, bringing things you don't want to hear. We've got to find a place in our life where we can say, hey, you're not me. You're you and I'm me. These thoughts that come, they're not me. That you can just stay over there. And even though they may be attached to our emotions and trouble us, believe me, I've been through all this myself. I've got the badge, I've been through hell with this whole thing. And that's why I had to find an answer, because it was driving me crazy, bang, voices and emotions and crazy stuff. And I found my peace, So I'm just trying to talk to people who maybe you're not used to this journey and you're thinking, well, how do you take the first footstep? Well, I'm just trying to say, if you can do that with your kids in the morning and get them to school, the art of ignoring those little voices, even though they're so deeply attached to you emotionally, okay, that is a great skill. And that is a transferable skill, because the mind is just like a stupid kid, okay? It just wants attention. It doesn't care how it gets your attention. It just wants your attention. It doesn't care how rotten you feel, as long as you feel rotten about the things that it is telling you, okay? And that's why people meditate, because they want to be in a place where they are here and the mind's over there, okay? And really that's all I want to say. Just a simple message of encouragement that you are already practicing a great skill that is a transferable skill, okay? So even though you may feel as if you've got a long way to go, you don't need to wear a saffron robe, You don't need to go to an ashram somewhere or some unpronounceably named village in India or Pakistan or something. You can do this where you live, because you're practicing the skills where you live already, okay? The little people who live below the countertop, they live down there, and you go, you know what, stay there. The last little example I give to you is a great one. If you've ever seen the movie Beautiful Mind, sorry for those who haven't seen it, you might not understand what I'm going to say. But Dr. Nash, he got his award at the end of the film, and he suffered from schizophrenia all his life. And he had these big people in his life. They weren't real, big people tormenting him, And he sort of fought with the schizophrenia, fought with it, until in the end he managed to get control, and he was able to go back to Princeton College and teach mathematics again. And when he got his prize at the end, his award, I can't remember what the prize is called now, but he got this prestigious award. One of his friends said, "Hey, John, do you still see things? Do you still get troubled by it?" And he said, "Yeah." And then they show you the three principal tormentors that had been in his life, but they were way, way across the room, and they weren't here anymore. They were kind of small, And he'd learned to sort of get on with his life with what you call the bigger picture, getting the kids to school, and not listening to the kids themselves, So that's just trying to encourage you to learn a skill like that. It's a transferable skill, and you're probably halfway there already, okay? So I'm wishing you good luck and peace, wishing you peace.